足をえぐりて、これで完成だ。
なるほど。やはりえぐるとはそういう意味だったんですね。
And you're just gonna leave me in the dark about all this. They discovered the location. They've been going on the journey, and now you're gonna be like, oh yeah, we solved it, and I'm just gonna be left in the dark. You're like, oh, we all solved it. Thanks.
またしても私の推理は正解でした。
The feel of it this time was clearly different from the previous times, as though some sort of device had activated. However, as far as a quick glance could tell, there was no dramatic change such as an entrance or some sort of opening. Apparently, they would need to do just a little more before they could find it.
すげえよ。これで本当に黄金が見つかったら、俺とお前。
知的興奮を楽しめただけで私が好きなのは謎解きだけ。報酬はそれが正しかったことの証明だけで十分です。
She shrugged it off, implying that just seeing the gold would be enough. Then she crouched down, peering fixedly at the lock mechanism. It's definitely no mistake to say this girl really loves solving riddles. For her, treasure hunting is all about the delicious process of exposing secrets, so she has no interest in whatsoever in getting the treasure for herself and becoming a billionaire.
なるほど。よくもこんな仕掛けを。あなたたちの不運は私をこの島に迎えたことでしたね。ただ碑文がそこに存在するだけ。フルドエリカはこの程度の推理が可能です。いかがでしょうか、皆様方。
As she said this to the now exposed contraption, she grinned. Her smile was triumphant, but it was more fully characterized by the small bit of unpleasant disdain contained within. After solving the riddle, she was probably reveling in the pleasure of having won against the one who had proposed it, and she enjoyed her ability to scoff at this person now.
これで黄金が見つかれば、次期当主はクラウスさんでなくあなたですね。
どうだろうな。
クラウスさんってちょっと傲慢な方じゃないですか。偉そうって言いますか。そのクラウスさんが一夜明けたら、おいに黄金も次期当主の座もかっさらわれていたなんて。
It would be amusing, I won't lie.
なんだか愉快ですね。
I definitely get a chuckle out of it. Etika was still crouched down as she spoke, her back to Battler as she toyed around with the device.
ジェシカさんでした。私に意見した女の子。あの子、自分の父親が次期当主だと威張ってましたね。彼女は今夜が明け、バトラさんが自分の父親がもはや次期当主で亡くなったことを知ったら、どんな表情を見せるんです。
別に俺は200億を独り占めする気はもうせいぜい1割ももらえりゃお腹いっぱいさ。あとは親族で仲良く分けりゃいい。次期当主なんてもっと興味がねえぜ。クラウスおじさんに喜んで押し付けさせてもらうぜ。
果たしてそう簡単な話です。それを推理することよりは、今はジェシカさんが明日どんな負け惜しみを口にするかの方が推理の対象として。
お前性格悪いな。
Truly.
おや、謎解きが好きという時点で推理できませんでした。私、人が隠すことを暴くのが好きな
Jesus, wow. That's one way to phrase it.
知的蹂躙者なんですよ。碑文の謎解きもそうです。
じいさまが満を持して隠した黄金を
最初はそうでしたが、途中から目的が変わりました。
途中？何？
ジェシカさんです。私の推理に口を挟み、高潔かつ高尚な時間を汚しました。だからあのジェシカという子に思い知らせたくて。
お前本気で言ってんのか？
私はどんな相手でも屈服させます。それが私のまだ推理、必要ですか？後ろ宮ジェシカは私をムカつかせた。だから私は身の程を思い知らせてやりたくて、日々そこから導かれる今の私の感じ、推理可能ですか？
This time I turned my back on her in earnest. Did I get a bit too excited by this riddle-solving game, letting her drive me on? And do something terrible? Potentially. That's right. It should have been possible to reason this out. the riddle is solved, the relatives will probably freak out about who the successor should be. Then some others will probably push for me, the discoverer, to be the successor. Some relatives not thrilled with that prospect will probably oppose them. Despite how adamantly Etika affirmed it, it wasn't written anywhere that the one who solves the riddle of the epitaph becomes the successor. Because of this, it will lead to a fight between those who acknowledge that theory and those who don't. If I reason out what will happen next as Erika did, it'll probably lead to a messy fight between Uncle Kraus and the rest of the relatives. Now that I've solved the riddle, will Jessica admire me or curse me? I don't want to think about that now. Etika was still mumbling. Apparently, she had already started trying to reason it out. As I began to feel very bad, I vaguely gazed out into the black night. Interesting. Oh, at that time, I looked at a dim outdoor light and saw the silhouette of a person in front of it. Thought I must be seeing things. After all, it was unthinkable that someone could have been standing there this whole time, pounded upon by the rain without even an umbrella. However, the silhouette didn't move an inch. And maybe... No, it couldn't be. It was looking at me. And it was... Nah, hold up. Nah, hold up. Grandfather. At that moment, I understood. Grandfather's probably been watching us solve the riddle this whole time. And he watched as we spectacularly solved the whole thing. Without a doubt, there was a faint smile on Grandfather's face. Grandfather, who had never worn anything except moody and frightening expressions, looked me in the eye and smiled at me for the first time. Almost as though he was saying, "How impudent." Or else, "I never thought it would be you." However, this is still the result that Grandfather's epitaph chose. So I'm sure he accepted that result. In the end, he grinned one more time. Of course, he didn't use words. His smile seemed to be wordlessly saying, "Well done." I didn't know how I should respond. I couldn't do anything but stand there in shock, ignoring Etika as she crouched down, mumbling with her back towards me. Then Grandfather stretched a hand out from the folds of his cloak and pointed at something. When I looked in that direction, there was the thing he was pointing at. It was probably a signpost to the Golden Land. Go. I'm sure Grandfather said that one word. I nodded to show that I understood. After watching that, Grandfather nodded back, satisfied. Then with a spin of his cloak, he disappeared, seeming to melt into the darkness. The expression on his face at the end was a smile that was, for the first time, truly satisfied.
聞いてます？バトラさん、私の推理。
あれが黄金鏡への道しるべだ。
え？あ、さっきと向きが変わってる。なるほど、あちらへ進めという良い観察力ですね。
じいさま教えてもらった。
え？金どこに？
行くぜ。見せてもらおうじゃねえか。
Where is he? I'm going.
黄金鏡ってやつを。
We started to walk. The entrance to the Golden Land was right there. Okay. Okay, but huh?
我が悲文がついに解かれたか。そしてバトラーがか。愉快、この上なし。
I think about it, I was also ahead that no one saw coming. How amusing that the one to succeed me is just as surprising.
これにて我が生涯に一切の未練はなし。ベアトリーチェ、そなたのもとへ行くぞ。我が悲文が選びし奇跡を手土産にな。
Battler of all people. That battler.
なあ 我が生涯の最後の最後に我は真の奇跡を見たり。ベアトリーチェ、この賭けは私の勝利だ。
Man is happy. Yeah, that's the spot. Yep.
体食性以外には金に換金物としての利便性を見出すことはできませんね。これを現金化するには随分の手間をかけそうです。
At the end of a crude underground tunnel, in a VIP room so beautiful it seemed improper, was a pile of gold so large that there could be no doubting its 20 billion yen worth. Etika was calm, but Badler couldn't suppress his excitement. As for which of the two was the correct reaction to show after seeing a mountain of gold, only those who saw the scene with their own eyes could say for sure. In this day and age, it's said that an average salaryman earns about 200 million yen in wages over his life. And this is 20 billion yen worth of gold. With even 1/100th of this gold mountain, a single human could live their entire life without working. What is labor? Isn't it the very point of a human's life, since a person who doesn't work cannot eat? If so, then 200 million yen is enough to make a single person's life complete. And this is 20 billion yen. This would account for the labors of 100 humans. No, a single human life 100 times over. Of course, if you still wanted to work, you could. Any money you gained as a result could be used to play with. After all, you would already have enough money to live for your entire life. No, for eternity. No, wait. I mustn't keep it all to myself. I could split it up among 100 people. If I could recreate a world where a full 100 humans wouldn't have to work for their whole lives, just what kind of world would that be? Yeah, there's no doubt at all.
ここが黄金鏡なんだ。
ベルンバトラは見事に黄金を見つけましたとさ。めでたしめでたし。肝となる部分は少し伏せさせてもらったけど、そのくらいの意地悪はしてもいいわね。
ああ、そこは好き。碑文の謎がどういう謎々でどういう答えだったのかという。大事なのはその結果、黄金が10トン発見されたという事実の方だ。
The gold was discovered in the third game as well by Aunt Ava. Aunt Rosa also witnessed it. However, the two of them hadn't spoken of the gold's discovery to anyone. In other words, there was a chance that the gold's discovery was a catbox truth kept between the two of them. More specifically, it was possible that the gold didn't exist and was just an illusion.
しかし、猫箱が開かれちゃう。
副将ごっこは時間の無駄だから先にサービスしてあげる。この黄金の山は本物よ。ここに積まれたインゴットは全てレプリカとか偽物とか、そんな騙しは一切なし。
よし、わかった。この黄金は認めるぜ。だが認められないものがまだある。
合っちゃったものね、金蔵に。
Yeah.
金蔵は幻想のはずなのに、あなたさっき出会っちゃった。やっぱりこれは魔法なんじゃないのかしら。
Nah, it was a body double.
ほざけ。俺は一言もじい様と言葉を交わしたような気持ちになっただけだ。いい加減にしろ。同じ手はもう通用しない。
ならほらどうぞ、青き真実。
おそらく俺は碑文の謎を解き、それで何かをじい様と見間違えた。例えばそれは暗がりの子たちに引っかかった何かのそれが漆黒のマントを羽織ったじい様に見えたのかもしれない。その結果、俺はじい様と何かのやり取りをしたように誤解した。
青き真実。まあ私も全く同じことを青で。
それでと赤き真実で反論は
ないわ、今のところはね。
Okay. The me who let out a strange yell in front of the gold mountain It's finally starting to regain its cool. Now that we've found it, there's no covering it up. I vaguely considered keeping this discovery a secret. However, Etika wanted to prove that her own reasoning was correct by announcing this to everyone. Of course. She really is an intellectual, just as she says. The puzzle-solving game is what's important to her, and she doesn't intend to take any responsibility for what happens after the riddle is solved. A riddle is sort of like a lock. Locks exist to be locked, and they're only significant when they're locked. Therefore, it ought to be essential to have some goal in mind when exposing such a thing. However, to this girl, the act of exposing is itself her final goal. She has no intention of taking responsibility for anything that happens later. Maybe the true storm to hit Rokenjima isn't the typhoon, but her. She won't keep this discovery a secret. She'll definitely announce it so she can brag about her success. Then, she'll call a real storm down upon this island. I won't be able to keep this covered up. In that case, there's nothing to do but announce this fact fairly to all. I can imagine what'll happen after that. As she grinned, Etika muttered to herself. She must have been anticipating the uproar that the relatives would soon bring about. To her, merely imagining that was far sweeter than 20 billion yen in gold.
ただ碑文がそこに存在するだけでフルドエリカはこの程度の推理が可能です。いかがでしょうか皆様方。
The sudden sound of someone banging fiercely on the door brought Natsu to her senses. She had probably nodded off in the study while planning how they would overcome the next day. But what could it be? At a time like this? More importantly, the knock itself was strange. If someone wanted to contact her, they could have just used the internal phone line. She told them that she'd be here. Realizing that something strange was going on, Natsu shook her head one more time, completely throwing off her drowsiness.
お父様、お父様、エヴァです。至急、重要なお話があります。
It was Ava's voice. Uh-oh. What is this? I told them to lock the doors and windows of the mansion tightly after everyone left for the guest house. So why is Ava here? Natsu ran up to the door, responded with a small knock, and spoke through the door in a quiet voice.
何事ですか、想像し。夏日姉さん、なんでこんな時間にあんたがお父様の書斎。静かになさいと申し上げ。当主様が何よりも沈黙と静寂を好まれる。今はそんなこと言ってる場合じゃない。ご託はいいから、とっととここを開けなさい。お父様を出して。当主様は先何のご用か存じませんが、明日私が伺います。あんたなんかに用はないわよ。いいからさっさとここを開けなさい。
Yikes. Yeah, you ain't getting out of this one, Natsu. You made a mistake by even announcing you were in there. Like, ugh. I don't know how you recover from this one. Sometimes, multiple schemes and assumptions can fall apart due to the most direct, simple, and emotional of strategies. This is bad. Open the door, Ava will probably throw herself forwards and rush into the study. Now I can't even open this door. At that moment, the phone suddenly rang. It's okay. Both the keys to the study are here. Now we can open this door. Natsu inched away from the door and grabbed the receiver.
もしもし、夏日です。
Things are bad. It was from Kraus. His tone was strained. What in the world happened?
それは本当に。
ルドルフたちが押しかけてきている。これからバトラ君が全員立ち会い。
書斎の扉の前でエヴァさんが今開けたら書斎の中に押し入ってくるかもしれません。
わかった。私もそこに行く。エヴァには構うな。何もせずにそこにいるんだ。扉の前からエヴァを追い払ったら合図するからすぐに出てきたまえ。いいな。
Alright, I'm very curious to see how y'all pull this off. You're gonna do some fucking Mission Impossible shit. After that, Kraus came up the staircase accompanied by Genji. A heated debate started between him and Ava. Open up. No, calm down. In the middle of that, there was a small knock as a signal. Kraus had cleverly pushed Ava away from the door and distracted her. During that gap, Natsu slipped out of the study and quickly shut the door. Ava noticed this, and her face was twisted in disappointment. But the heavy sound of the auto lock had already rung out, and the door had been sealed.
碑文の黄金が見つかった。お父様にご報告するのが筋です。それとも何？お父様にはそれを伝えられない都合でも。
親父殿からは、床についたら何があっても起こすなと、それを守るのは当主代行の務めだ。
That was like the most bullshit reason you could come up with. You couldn't have said something about like how last night his condition had taken a sour turn and he needed his rest absolutely, like, so no matter should fucking interrupt. But like he said, do not wake me up no matter what, and as the successor I must fucking follow those orders, Kraus, come on. Anything.
そうだろう、源氏さん。はい。親方様のお休み。
Hello, Genji has that pause. He's like,
何があろうとも乱すことは許されま
that's
せん。
what he said. Like, Jesus, Kraus, that's the best you could come up with.
それも時と場合によるでしょうが。だって碑文が解けたの。お父様には真っ先に知る権利があるわ。
もちろん明日当主様、それが当主代行である私たちの役。
そんなの知らないわよ。いいからこの扉を開けなさいよ。お父様に会わせなさい。お父様、お父様、聞こえていますか？エヴァです。ここを開けてください。痛っ、話してよ。痛い。
私たちが話を聞くといい。やかましく扉を叩くな。
痛っ、話してよ。話しなさいよ。
クラウス様、エヴァ様、親方様がお休み。これ以上はお控えください。
When Genji spoke firmly, the two finally ceased their scuffle. It seemed that Genji, the one who had spoken for Kinzo since they were very young, still possessed an air of dignity strong enough to handle both Kraus and Eva. Eva put her argument aside for the time being. She could hold off worrying about that until after she saw the gold with her own eyes. After all, not even Eva had seen it for herself yet. Nazi and the others had managed to somehow deal with the momentary crisis. However, the move of the demons that would sneer upon their efforts had already begun.
バトラが碑文の謎を解いたというのか。
Battler?
エリカなる娘にだいぶ助けられたとはいえ、たどり着いたのはバトラーだった。エリカは黄金鏡の権利を放棄すると宣言し、よってバトラが黄金鏡にたどり着きし者だ。運命とは、バトラ様がたどり着くとは。
どうするのです、ベアト。碑文の謎を解く者が現れたなら儀式は取りやめる。
うん、そういう取り決めであったな。
そういう取り決めだ。
バトラ様はどうやら黄金、我らの主となる者はもはや。
それもまたゴールドスミス教とのご縁で人間の世界に権限し、とても楽しい時間でしたよ。
やだ、リア、ババ臭い。で、どうするわけ？リーチェとゴールドスミスのルールなら、バトラが碑文を、私たちはこれでお役御免じゃないの？
そうである。私に未練は何もない。
Oh yeah, and that means now the demons will no longer assist Nazi, right? Because she's not the wife of the head anymore.
いつでも呼吸とすげ蹴落とされる覚悟はできておるぞ。
待て、そうはいかぬ。そなたの心残りはないかもしれぬが、バトラが碑文を解いたからお役御免ではあまりに義理を書
Okay,
く
so
という。
Beatrice makes sure that doesn't happen.
魔女は契約違反を許さぬが、不義理もまた許されぬ。
でしょうな。親族会議を終えるまではきっちりとお使いする
Okay,
べきでしょう。
so they will continue. Gotcha.
となるとゴールドスミス教ももう無事に親族会議を乗り越え、せめて夏日様にもしできるならこれまでの努力をねぎらわれるべきかと。
あれもよく愚足を支えてきたものよ。
貴様など片刃をもがれた打天使ではないか。揃わぬ翼なら置き土産に捨てていけ。
うん、それもよかろう。夏日ならば 我が翼を背負うにふさわしいかもしれん。しかしここからが正念場となるぞ。褒美は用意し、無事にこの試練を乗り越えてみよう。夏日。
Let's go.